This time on Girls Day Out, we are going to delve into mental health and self-care. Going to go over a very sensitive topic for everyone, but it's a topic that I think we need to discuss more often. Well, hey guys, so today I'm going to go over a very sensitive topic for everyone, but it's a topic that I think we need to discuss more often. It's becoming more and more talked about, but I think some people still feel like they're struggling more than others, and I don't think that's the case. I think they just haven't found people that they relate to and other people that are going through it. And to be frank, it's taken me years to talk about it, even to my husband and other people. So let's talk about it. I'm going to start these new sessions, and they're going to be called self-care sessions. I'll be releasing them once a month, and I'm hoping that with this you guys will be able to relate a little bit and start to realize that you are okay, you are doing the best you can, and that's what matters. So I'm going to give a little bit of relevance to myself here and some of the stories that I'm going through, and then through along the way we're going to bring in other people as well, so that way there's other people in the industry also going through the same thing, and hopefully with it all you guys can start to see that you're not alone. There are other people out there, there are other people struggling, there are other people going through the same things, and it's okay. So let's dive straight into it. Today I'm going to talk about me. I'm probably the best person to talk about. I know more about myself, unfortunately. But topic number one, I do suffer big time from mental health, anxiety. I have panic attacks on the regular. You want the list of problems? It started, well, I started to see more signs of it with my postnatal depression. With Luke, I was very ashamed to have postnatal depression. I felt like it at the time. Postnatal depression was something that bad mums had, and it wasn't talked about. You don't talk about your postnatal. And now looking back on it, I was an idiot. I should have talked about it, because if I talked about it, I wouldn't have felt the things I felt. I wouldn't have doubted myself every 5 minutes. I wouldn't have pushed everyone away. I probably could have turned around to everyone and let them understand where I'm coming from. So I now feel terrible that's on the flip side, that I went through that and that I didn't explain myself to people, because if I did, I probably would have helped myself a lot more. Going through postnatal depression again with Michael, but this time I was a little bit on the front foot. I knew what to expect. I knew what was to come. I knew how to help myself. I knew how to turn around and communicate with my husband and with other people. So talking, I hate talking to people about myself. I absolutely hate it. I have 0 to negative 100% self-confidence. I know some people might see me up on stage and might think that sometimes I do have all the confidence in the world. I do not. And you should ask Justin the amount of fits I go into and the nervous and anxiety fits I have before going up on a stage. And what makes it even harder is when I'm doing these shows alone, I will basically have a mental breakdown prior. I will panic, I will have anxiety fits, I start getting nervous, I start getting clustered, it's a lot. And I have no one to talk to about it. Afterwards, I feel awesome. I've done it, my confidence is through the roof, but I still have that lead up prior, which is hard. So I do suffer from depression. I guess you call it now. It's a bit too, can't call it postnatal depression because babies are done now. But I did suffer from postnatal depression, and with the team I spoke to when I was pregnant with Michael, the mental health team, I did voice my concerns of what was going on, and I was very, very fortunate that the hospital I was at supplied a team, and I mean a team of mental health nurses and doctors that were willing to support me along the way. And one of them actually turned around to me and said, "Sweetheart, do you have ADHD?" And I, in the back of my mind, thought I have. I never really have it confirmed, diagnosed. However, Luke does. Luke has severe ADHD and he has to get it from somewhere. So I told her that. I said, no, I've never been diagnosed, but I'm 99% sure that I do because Luke's got it. And she said, okay, so everything you went through with Luke is very common triggers of mothers with ADHD. So for me, I was like, okay, I'm not alone. And she assured me that everything that I'm going through is normal, and she'd be more concerned if I was sitting there laughing and smiling through it all. I mean, I was, but I have a very dark sense of humour, but she could see right through that, obviously. So a little bit of a backstory. When I fell pregnant with Luke, I was 6 months pregnant at the time, and I lost my job. I got fired. The combination of that with this is my first child, I kept getting hand-me-downs and second-hand stuff, which, yes, it's great and it's really cost-effective, but it was only cost-effective because I didn't have money. I didn't have savings. And I know a lot of people probably think this is not a big deal, but for me it was a huge deal. This is my first baby. I never anticipated on having kids. I actually got told that I could never have kids. And I had several miscarriages prior, so I was like, okay, this is happening. This is happening. And I didn't get to buy the pretty stuff for my son. I had this vision of how I wanted to have my first child, and it's like someone grabbed that vision, threw it in the bin, lit it on fire, and then gave it back to me in ashes. That's how I felt. It wasn't what I wanted. I didn't get plans changed, but all of this was things that broke me, absolutely destroyed the person I was. So I struggled, and that was this downward spiral of my postnatal. Fast forward to Michael, same things were sort of happening. Difference was I had to quit my job for health reasons because Michael was not doing great. I was not doing great. We were very concerned, and unfortunately where I was working had a bit of sick and COVID going around, and I was at the point in my pregnancy where if I got COVID, I would have to terminate my pregnancy because of how Michael was developing and my immune system. So for the safety of myself and my son, I decided to leave that job. I still did a little bit at home, gave me time to work on the business and that sort of stuff, but yet again, same boat, I didn't have the money. I couldn't do the fancy stuff, and we threw everything away from Luke because, 5 years down the track, didn't expect to have another. Not mad about it, just wasn't expected. But along with that, these were all things that started to affect me. My leading up to giving birth with Michael wasn't such a big deal. It was after. After I gave birth, about a week or so after, I had issues, and I ended up back in hospital. Then once I got out of hospital, I think it was about 3 weeks post-birth, Michael ended up in hospital, and to the point where I sent Justin home at the time because we had Luke as well, and it was late at night. I said, take him home, get him to go to sleep or chill out. And he dropped him at a friend's, actually. And so he had a little bit of a sleep so that he can come swap with me, essentially. And we got the notification that we were going down to Brisbane Fire Ambulance, and it's about a 2-hour drive. So at this stage, I didn't really know what was going on. He didn't really know what was going on. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I remember, like it's freaking yesterday, walking into the back of the Queensland Children's Hospital, and there was a team waiting there for us, me and Michael, because Justin was at home. And I panicked. I went, yeah, what? Hang on, what's going on? So this is when I full went into like mum panic protective mode. I was like, can I touch my son? So we signed in and got everything sorted, and they handed us over to this team, and I was like, okay, cool, what's going on? They said, oh, we're the surgical team, we're getting him ready for surgery. I said, you what? No, Dad's not here. No, we're doing this as a family. Oh, I'm not. No. And I already had a bad feeling that Michael wouldn't be able to survive coming out of surgery. I already had that bad feeling. I actually had the conversation with my mum leading up to this. I rang her when we were up in Toowoomba and told her what was going on so she could be prepared as well. And I remember saying to her, I have a bad feeling, and I'm very, very superstitious. And she's like, oh, what's your feeling? And I said, I have a feeling he's not going to make it out of it. I have that gut feeling that something's not right and that this is not a good idea. And she said, okay, well, voice your concerns. So when I got down to the Children's Hospital, I said to them, how immediate is it? How urgent is it for us to do this? And they said, oh, well, we can monitor him for a little bit, because they also didn't want to do the surgery because he was 3 weeks old. They said, look, we can monitor him, we'll put him on the ward and we'll monitor him, which is what we did. We ended up doing that, and I ended up bringing Justin at some God-only hour and said to him, right, you can come down now. I need you. And he's like, okay. So he raced down. I think he got there at about 5 o'clock. It's about 2-hour drive, 2.5 hour drive for us. So he ended up getting down there. Meanwhile, he's meant to be getting ready for a work trip to go over to WA. So there's that added onto the stress lifts as well. And they were awesome about that, and I'll get to that shortly. But with all of this, we went into instant panic mode, and my depression went down the plug hole. I automatically, no matter what I did, I kept going, I should have just ended it. I should have never gone through this. This is a bad idea. And I love my boys, and my little Michael is my saviour. I keep saying that Luke was brought on this earth to test me, and Michael was brought on this earth to earth me, to calm me, to get me to slow down. In hindsight, I haven't slowed down at all. I've gotten more busier, but he was always brought into my life to be my rock, and that boy tests me every day. But he's my little champion, and he's my little saviour. And unfortunately, I think this makes it hard for Luke. And we, as a mental health family, have tried talking to Luke, because I do see a lot of triggers he has that I had a little bit older than him, but I had as a child. And unfortunately, when I was growing up, it wasn't really talked about. Mental health wasn't talked about. It was just get over it. Now it's a different story, and it's not necessarily that we go soft, but we are very a voice household. Everyone has an opinion. You're allowed to voice your opinion, but that means that some people don't always agree with your opinion. So, and we will say to him, hey, you're okay? He goes, yeah, I'm okay. I said, okay, you want to talk about it? And he goes, nah. And some days he goes, Mummy, I don't feel great. I said, right, what's going on, mate? And he'll say, well, I just feel sad. I said, okay, why do you feel sad? And the other thing with this is he is on ADHD medication, and one side of that is depression. So I'd rather get in the forefront now and be able to talk to him about it, and him to go, I'm having a bad day, Mum. I go, okay, let's talk about it. Do you want to talk about it, or you just want to watch a movie? And we create that boundary between us as parents and child, where he can go, I'm having a bad day. I go, cool, mate. Us too. And I'm also getting open to him about when I'm having bad days. Like if he'll come up to me and he'll be like a barrel full of laughs or whatever, I'll go, hey mate, just give me 5 minutes. Mummy just needs to fix her brain. And I hope that all of this doesn't hinder him. I hope that he realises that he's a loved kid, and just because his brother's a bit sick doesn't mean that it's got anything to do with him. It's not his fault. It's just one of those things. So that's where my depression started early, but that was when I first started discussing it. That's depression. Let's talk about anxiety and self-confidence, because I have none. Oh, I have heaps of anxiety, but what anxiety I have makes up for the little self-confidence I have. So I do a lot of these stage presentations and talks and in photos and videos. And before anyone comes for me and says that I'm pity party right now, I'm not. We're having a discussion. This is a session that I want people to relate to. And I've had a few girls at our events voice this sort of stuff to me from their own experiences, and I find it absolutely amazing that they're willing to trust me to talk to me about this. And I hope I hope more people out there can talk to me about this as well. But my self-confidence, I have absolutely none. I've now gotten to the point where I do little things like I'll get my nails done. I go do fake nails because I can't stand them, so I just get them done, or I get my eyelashes done. I've got a lovely lady in Toowoomba who does my eyelashes, and she is also in the same boat as me, so we can relate, and she's another person I could talk to about struggles that I go through. So it's my little therapy session. But that aside, I'm not a makeup girly. I'm not your typical girly girl, so I don't assimilate with a lot. I am the minority, not the majority, which I really struggle with some days. And I think that's where, I don't know, my husband hates this, but I think this is where the big dick syndrome comes from, where I have to outdo people, because if I don't outdo people, I've got nothing. Now, when I grew up, I got, in high school, I guess, I got put in this box. I wasn't the smart one, I wasn't the skinny one, I wasn't the normal girl, I went to a nice Catholic school, I wasn't the churchy girl, I was out of the box. I was the outgoing, I was loud, I was boisterous, I said what came to my mind, I was not skinny, I was not the normal girl. Very opinionated, very voicing of my own things, and I felt very judged for all of that. And I think this is like I had it actually early adult life. I think it's about 18, 19, and I've always been loud and crazy, and I actually was hanging out with a bunch of friends, being my typical self, and they said, I really wish you'd just tone it down, you're really loud and crazy. And I went, hang on. And from that point onwards, like, I used to be this really outgoing, crazy person, and now I'm like this shell of a human that I was, because I've just gone, well, people don't like that, put this mask on and I'll just portray that mask. So I always got shunned in that aspect and treated like I was the outcast. And now, standing in the position that I am and the growth that I'm going in, I'm not this skinny thing. I'm not this beautiful size 8, size 10, size 12 lady. I'm the polar opposite of that. And some days I'm okay with it, and some days I'm not. A lot of the days I'm not. I get really hard on myself. And I struggle. So Am I doing things to help that? Not really. Should I? Probably. But I'm not yet in the space that I feel confident enough to go do stuff about it. I'll just continue to let it bother me. But with all this, I want people to assimilate, and I want people to feel like they have someone else that's going through this. And I have had girls come up to me and they've gone, I really love the fact that you're not this size 8 skinny thing and you are normal. I don't feel very normal, but I'm normal for them. And that'll never change. I'd like to lose weight, I'd like to get skinny. But my body image has always been an issue forever and a day. Because I got boobs, I got an ass, I'm chunky. As my husband says, he's got things he can grab and he likes that. I've got things I can grab and I don't like it. But this is my point, is people, and including me, need to stop being so harsh on themselves. They need to stop bashing themselves every time they get. There's something I'm teaching Luke and Michael when he gets old enough, and it's the biggest advice I can give anyone that's joining in our self-care sessions. When you go to bed that night, did you do your best? That doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the same as yesterday. It can be better than yesterday, it can be worse than yesterday, but did you do your best for that day? Because some days it may be a struggle to get out of bed, but you got out of bed and you had a shower. That was your best, and that's okay. And some days you can take on the world, and that's awesome. But you need to do your best. Your best is what matters, not everyone else's best, not my best, not your neighbour's best, not your husband, not your wife, your girlfriend, whatever. You just do your best. Because at the end of the day, it's your mental health that's going to be at play here. So, something I want you guys to take away for our first self-care session is every week, take some time for you. Now, that doesn't mean you need to go out and do something extravagant. That can be simply that you're just going to go sit in the park, you're going to go for a bath, you're going to put your headphones on, you're going to go chill out. Do something for you. Read a book, watch some TV, eat some chocolate, whatever makes you happy. That could be spending time with your kids and your family, spending time with your dog, spending time with a friend you haven't seen forever. But every week, do one thing for you. My second thing, talk to people. If you don't have a person to talk to your dog, your cat, your bird, a rock. I don't care. Talk to your car. I tell my car stories all the time. Sometimes she talks back, sometimes she doesn't. But my car gets all my good and my bad stories. But it gives me an outlet. When I don't want to talk to Justin, when I don't want to talk to my dogs, and my Harlow is my baby, my dog. When I don't want to do any of that, I talk to my car because I know she won't talk back. Number 3, do the best you can. When you go to bed every night, say to yourself, did I do my best today? Yep, cool, I did. No, I didn't. So what do I need to work on? Okay, so I'm having a mass anxiety day. So in that case, I need to get up and you just have a shower. That's my goal. And that way when you go to bed that night, you're like, okay, I did my best today. I did better than what I thought I would. So do your best. The 3 things. Do something for you, talk to someone, and do your best. You can do all those 3, you're doing amazing. Alright, our next session, I'm going to start doing these self-care sessions once a month. Hopefully some people can start to relate to this, and hopefully it can help people. I'm going to start bringing in some other people and start getting other people to, extend their experiences and how they're going through things, and hopefully along the way people can start to feel more confident to talk to people and start to realize that they're not alone. There's many people out there. There's many people going through the same thing. So keep an eye out on our socials when our self-care sessions are coming up. They will be on YouTube. I do have a few more ideas floating around with it. But have a good day, guys, and do your best. We'll see you in the next session.